Greetings, and today I will be reviewing episode 2 of the Witcher series. So before I get started, if this is your first time here, I'm a Gwent gamer, so a lot of my content revolves around Gwent, but ever since I've been watching this Witcher series, I thought I'd decide to make a series of reviews based on different episodes for it. So if that's your kind of thing, if you guys enjoyed the video at the end of it, please do leave a like and consider subscribing for more content. So, we got introduced to a couple of new characters in the series. Well, not really like new, but not so new at the same time. We got introduced to Yennefer and Dandelion, and oh, of course, before I keep going, if you guys haven't seen the episode 2 yet, but chances are, if you're watching the review video, chances are you've probably already seen it, and you're just probably looking for, you know, opinions and stuff. And feel free, honestly, to let me know about anything, what you guys thought of for the regarding the episode or anything with the Witcher series. Honestly, in the comment section below, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on it. And yeah, so we got introduced to Yennefer and Dandelion, and I actually like these two characters, how they're portrayed. Yennefer, we see her background as you know, she was abused by her parents, you know, because she had the deformity of the hunchback when she was born, so she wasn't liked at all by her parents. So it shows our backstory of Yennefer, where she is actually taken in by Tissaia to Aretuza to sort of control her magic, because she did display some potential for magical capabilities. So she did go through training in Aretuza, but the thing is, it was pretty hard for Yennefer because of her where she is very emotionally unstable. So she actually didn't, like, she wasn't able to perform as well as the other recruit or apprentices, we should say, for in Aretuza, simply because I thought she was just too, like, it seems that she was just too unstable emotionally, because, you know, she's never felt love, like, either from her parents or from, like, a loved one, or, like, from a boyfriend, I guess, you know, until she comes across Istrid, who is, I believe, a caretaker at Aretuza. Like, he tends to the, I'm not quite 100% sure what he does, because I know he tends to, like, there's something that happens underground regarding sort of like skulls of the elves who sort of built Aretuza, so I guess he's like sort of mending that, taking care of it and stuff like that. And they grow very close, and I guess that's where we see Yennefer's sort of first true love. It's when they share a moment together, which I thought was pretty nice, because, you know, we kind of see, even though Yennefer's background was, you know, very unstable, very unloved, uncared for by her parents, you know, she was just sold for 4 marks, which, by the way, is like the big thing with Yennefer, is the 4 marks, because she was only sold for 4 marks. You know, it's when you put a price on someone's life, honestly, it never makes you feel good. So yeah, it was nice to see Yennefer finally felt some love, but, you know, there is something suspicious about this guy, and we sort of see it later on. I'm not going to say too much about that, so, you know, that's probably, we're going to see a little bit of twist in that, and maybe that's how it sort of all helps, you know, intertwine Yennefer's path with Geralt. Maybe has something to do with maybe some sort of breakdown with Istrid or whatever. So we do see that Yennefer does sort of start to control her emotions, and she finally now starts to reach the full potential of her magic. So I would like to see how powerful she becomes in the upcoming episodes. And that's sort of where, you know, things are with Yennefer, so, which kind of makes sense. It's sort of just her upbringing in a way. So moving on to Dandelion, he's always been, I guess he just started off as a bard. Like, his backstory doesn't go back to his childhood like Yennefer's. His starts like him just singing in a bar. Obviously getting stuff thrown by the people who eat and drink there, because obviously they don't like his singing. So, and he finds an interest in seeing Geralt, who just sits in the corner, just minding his own business, and Dandelion comes in, and this is where we sort of start to see that relationship between Dandelion and Geralt starting. Well, I'm not talking about an actual relationship, but, like, I guess I wouldn't say friendship just yet, because obviously Geralt wants no business at Dandelion, but Dandelion just insists, because, you know, more stories for him to tell, knowing that Geralt is a witcher. Think of all the songs that Dandelion the bard can sing regarding Geralt. Speaking of songs, Toss a Coin to the Witcher is a very fantastic piece. I thought they did very well with it, and honestly, I can't help but listen to it once every day. It is such a good song. I loved it. So on their way out, Geralt is approached by a farmer who is offering to pay him money to sort of clear the field of a devil who is like taking their food and stealing it. And this is where we see sort of Geralt's haggling skills, which again is something that is prominent in The Witcher 3. When you accept contracts or bounties or whatever, you can haggle for more money. So I like how they put that here in the Witcher series. It kind of makes us feel like we're still in the Witcher world. So instead of the 100 that the guy asked for, he agrees to Geralt's 150 offer, or counter offer I should say, and Geralt goes ahead and hunts for the devil, which is revealed to be Torque, who is doing actually all this as an errand for Filavandrel. And the reason why he's doing that is because Filavandrel's people were thrown out of the lands, and Filavandrel to reveal and Torque captured Geralt and Dandelion and hold them prisoner to Filavandrel. And this is where we, again, the theme of lesser evil that we saw in episode 1 returns here to episode 2, where Filavandrel is doing all this, stealing for the food, because he was driven out of his lands originally, and he just wants to survive. And he wants to survive in by whatever means necessary. So again, Geralt is facing that dilemma once again with Filavandrel, and Filavandrel is actually about to kill him. Geralt brings up, and I thought this was pretty interesting, because Geralt and Filavandrel are not human. They're non-humans. Geralt is a mutant, while Filavandrel is an elf, but I like how Geralt sort of points out that he's learned to live with humans. Because again, with Filavandrel, there's always this tension between human races and human race and non-human races, where they always think that one is more dominant than the other, and where like it's always seen by the non-humans that the humans want to take sort of credit for their own knowledge, which this actually comes up in Yennefer's storyline, where I was talking about how Istrid was sort of, I don't know if he's a character, I'm not 100% sure what he does. I'd be appreciative if you guys would let me know. I mean, I'll probably look it up after this, but at the time I'm making this, no idea just yet. It was revealed by Istrid actually that the half-elf or the elves taught the humans how to perform magic. So humans weren't naturally born with magic, which makes sense, because elves, non-humans, they possess a bit more magical powers compared to humans. So they teach them, and in return, the humans decide to slaughter all of them. And I believe what was known as the Great Cleansing. They didn't want the elves, of course, to sort of take credit for their knowledge. They wanted all the credit to themselves, as if they learned it naturally, and wanted to put a better reputation amongst themselves and the other races and making them seem like they're the most dominant race. Obviously the elves didn't like that, so since then there's been sort of tension between humans and elves. So back to Geralt's story. I like how Geralt points out that they're actually no different from the other. The only really main difference with them in terms of how they fit in society is that Geralt has sort of chosen to fit with humans, to blend into human society, despite them still treating him like, he's a monster. He's, this magical horse and bitch or whatever, and Filavandrel is, I take it he's a bit too prideful, because again, he is an elf. They have pride as well. They also have flaws. So I believe that Filavandrel may be a little bit too prideful to to sort of coincide with humans, or to coexist with humans, I should say. What am I saying? So they come to agreement eventually, after sort of convincing from Torque to let him live, because Geralt didn't kill him after all. So it shows that sort of remorse on Geralt's side, where he's not just a killer. He does have a conscience and does act upon it. He doesn't act on money. He doesn't act on rage and all that stuff. He does have a conscience, and again, he tries to be neutral, tries to choose the lesser evil. So we come across this agreement where Geralt is eventually let go, and he does give the money to Filavandrel to sort of help, a sort of starting point to help him rebuild. So that's sort of the end of Geralt's storyline. That's sort of what we see from him in this episode. Going to Ciri, Ciri runs from the Nilfgaardians, continues her escape, and she comes across a young boy who helps her hide from the Nilfgaardian soldiers who are looking for her. And they won't eat, I think they're eating rats or something, and like that obviously grosses Ciri out, considering she is royalty. She's not used to eating rats, but considering the situation she's in now, she has to sort of do what it takes to survive and to escape and to eventually run into Geralt. So after being with the boy for a little while, she comes across a Sintran camp, These are survivors from the attack from Nilfgaard. So she goes there and the boy mysteriously vanishes, so she just goes ahead and beats with her people. Her people don't seem to know who she is, and that makes sense because Ciri, whenever Ciri would go out into the town square, she would always be sort of disguised. Her blonde hair wasn't really showing, so it's like they're not going to recognize her as Queen Calant's granddaughter, and I think that's a good thing because they have grown to actually hate Queen Calanthe after her surrender of Nilfgaard. Like, they thought she was a coward. You know, they hate royalty. So if they found out that Ciri was her granddaughter, they would either exile her or possibly even kill her. So, you know, it's good that she sort of hides her identity, and it helped out when she was still in the city to, you know, sort of disguise herself so she could play, you know, just be a kid because, you know, she's royalty. You know, what are the chances, how many chances you're ever going to get as royalty or whatever to live just a normal childhood. So I really like how they portrayed that back in episode 1. I thought that was really good. So she comes across sort of a family that, you know, sort of takes her in, and unfortunately one night they were caught by Nilfgaardian soldiers, and they started slaughtering more of the Cintran people. Obviously they were looking for Ciri, of course, because she is in that part of the forest. So she escaped. She narrowly actually escapes after being rescued by the boy that she found in the forest, who we found out in the end to be an elf by the name of Dara. So I'm not quite sure where this is going, honestly. Like, again, I haven't read the lore, so I'm sort of pretty excited to see where this is going. I know that my reviews are like, I'm not saying a lot of bad things about the series, because honestly, as a gamer, like for someone who's played The Witcher 3 and who plays Gwent, like I really enjoy the series so far. I don't know, I'm just a sucker for really good stories. Like, and this is actually a lot of fun. Like, I'm actually really liking how Yennefer's character has actually developed from her childhood to what she is now, because I saw her as this very strong, independent witch who is capable of fighting anyone and anything that comes in her way. Like, I see that strength, and now we actually get to see where that strength comes from, because again, she wasn't emotionally stable always, but once she learned to actually cope with it, her powers actually got more powerful. Sorry, her magic got more powerful, and that even impressed Desaya from calling her Piglet to now calling her Yennefer. So, you know, we get to see Yennefer's potential there, and I thought that was really good. So, that was sort of my review and sort of the thoughts I had on the scenes from The Witcher series episode 2. I decided not to sort of go line by line because I didn't want to make it too long. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this on the comment section below. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. If there's any details that I may have missed, feel free to let me know. I would love to hear them, or see them, I suppose. Again, leave a like if you guys enjoyed the video, and subscribe for more content. And other than that, this is Enzo signing out. I'll catch you guys in the next one.